plan to discuss phase transition. So we are familiar with some aspect of phase transition using our previous 3 discussion on this topic. So we would like to further discuss some the remaining aspects of phase transition in the light of one-dimensional Ising model. This model has mathematical simplicity. In the case of one-dimensional model, you have simpler description of the thermodynamics of the system. So we have Ising, we have spin system basically that has either spin up orientation or spin down orientation. So it belongs to universality class 1, 1. So in this case our description is fairly simple. So when we have n spin which are arranged along a circle and it is at temperature T and there is electromagnetic field B. So in the previous class we have seen this partition function of this n spin system can be written in presence of electromagnetic field in the form of equation number 1. And free energy, Helmholtz free energy in the presence of electromagnetic field and at temperature T can be written in the form of equation number 2. Now we move to another topic, that is spin-spin correlation function. So it will help us to realize fact that there is a cooperative behavior which is having some divergence, and the divergence can be seen in terms of correlation length. So correlation, spin-spin correlation function can be determined in as a term GR, which is scales with e power minus r upon xi. So xi is your correlation length. R is distance between two spins. The two spins separated is partially r distance. So it near a transition point, your correlation length xi, it diverges with exponent nu. This is what Newton would like to determine using this one-dimensional Ising model. So for that we consider further n spin system. So these are the n spin systems schematically: spin 1, spin 2, spin 3, and so on up to spin n. So we have here a spin along a line, and the external field is 0, B is 0, Zi, that is spin is an interaction term, is now side dependent. So for ith spin it has Zi value, I plus 1th spin it has Zi plus 1 value, Ji plus 1, and so on. So this spin interaction term is a side dependent now. So in the absence of B field we can rewrite partition function Qn in this manner. So this Si, Sn, I wrote for all possible Si, but we ignore this term which is in this structure. So we sum over Si e power minus beta Hn Si. Hn is a Hamiltonian of your n spin system that can be written in this fashion. So you are calculating partition function of n spin system at temperature T in absence of electromagnetic field B, that is 0. So from there we have Q and T that can be written in this manner: exponential power sum over I beta Z. So minus is there, and a minus this is there, and this minus you have plus now here. Sum over I beta Zi Si plus 1. That is equation number 4. This is equation number 3a. This one is 3b. So from there partition function you have now Q and T, that is sum over all possible values of spin. See this term exponential power sum over this function. Okay, so this you can write in the form of multiplication: exponential power something, that is exponential a into exponential b into exponential c, that can be written in this manner. So we have multiplication I1 to n exponential beta Zi Si plus 1. Here I is varying from 1 to n minus 1. This should be n minus 1. 1 to n minus 1. This should be equation number 5. So we have now partition function of n spin system where spin interaction term is side dependent at temperature T. Your all spins there. Your all spins are at temperature T. So in that case you have this term turn out to be 2 power n by I equal to 1 to n minus 1 cos hyperbolic beta z I. This is equation number 6. See, this term you have written for any two spin system, assuming they are the neighbors. So for that, say Sn plus minus 1 value, beta z n minus 1, Sn minus 1, Sn. So whatever value you take of, say, this spin system, say one spin Sn is fixed, another one, say Sn minus 1 is fixed, Sn you are taking plus 1 and minus 1. For whatever value of Sn minus 1, you have two possibility, Sn plus 1 and Sn minus 1. So in that case you have, its value is 2 cos hyperbolic beta z n minus 1. It is independent of the fact that whether Sn minus 1 is plus or minus, or Sn is plus 1 or minus 1. So from there you have partition function of any spin system in absence of magnetic field, where spin exchange interaction term is side dependent, can be written in the form of equation number 6. Okay, so 2 power n pi sum over this pi I 1 to n minus 1 cos hyperbolic beta zi. Means you have this term 2 power n cos hyperbolic beta z1 into cos hyperbolic beta z2 into cos hyperbolic beta j3 and so on up to cos hyperbolic beta j n minus 1. That is equation number 6. From there you can determine your free energy 1 upon n multiplied with kT. It is one we have taken. So in that case your one spin free energy in terms of thermal energy can be written as log of 2 plus 1 upon n. So I1 to n minus 1 log of cos hyperbolic beta zi. That is question number 7. This you can also get by substituting this b equal to 0 in equation number 1. Substituting b equal to 0 and in 2 substituting b equal to 0, capital B equal to 0, you can get equation number 6 as well as equation number 7. So now we come to spin correlation term. So Sk plus 1, there are two spins, they are nearest neighbor. For that we can determine what is the value of average value of Sk dot Sk plus 1 dot Sk, it is a vector quantity dot Sk plus 1. Okay, you can take its average Sk into Sk plus 1 value, you can take average. So that is nothing but 1 upon Qn into partition function in the denominator, deva beta of see 1 upon beta into deva jk of Qn. Qn is here, question number 5. Qn is here. So you can differentiate this equation number 5 with respect to, say, jk. When you differentiate jk, you will have term Sk and Sk plus 1. This is what you have. So from there you have you can rewrite it 1 upon beta deva jk of log of Qn. When you differentiate log of Qn, you will have 1 upon Qn deva jk of Qn. So this is the nearest neighbor correlation function. So nearest neighbor correlation function gknn we are writing, nearest neighbor, nn that is nearest neighbor, gk function that is correlation function for nearest neighbor for kth spin. So tan hyperbolic beta jk. Now you can see that from here Qn is known to you, cos hyperbolic beta zi, okay, 2 power n. So you substitute here and solve it. You substitute Qn in this expression and solve it, you will get tan hyperbolic beta jk. When you differentiate it, you will have Qn in the denominator, that is cos hyperbolic beta j term in the denominator, and a derivative of cos hyperbolic beta zi with respect to jk, cos hyperbolic beta jk, differentiating with respect to jk will give you tan hyperbolic beta jk. So in that manner you can get value of gknn, that is tan hyperbolic beta jk. Student can see their own. If there is any trouble, they can write it in the form of comment section. Any confusion or question, you can write in the comment section of this video. So again you can see that largest eigenvalue in absence of external magnetic field is nothing but to have cos hyperbolic beta j. Okay, and you can have value of lambda 2 as well. So from there you can verify your own that GKNN is nothing but log of, it is function of lambda 1 upon lambda 2, that you can determine your own. So this is GKNN 10 hyperbolic beta zk. So you can write for rth spin which are separated by r distance, you can determine correlation function for two spins which are separated by r spatial distance. So GKR is SK into SKR plus 1, its average value. This value is nothing but SK plus 1 into SK plus 1, SK plus 2 and so on up to SK plus 1, R minus 1 into SK plus R. Okay, you know that SI square is 1 for all possible value of I, which is varying from say K plus 1 to K plus R minus 1. Okay, so from there you have one of, see, for each pair of SK plus 1 like term, you have value 1 upon Qn divided 1 upon beta into divided of Zk, right? So for each pair you can write like this. So you have so many terms up to 1 upon beta divided by Jk plus R minus 1. This is K plus R minus 1. This is K plus R minus 1 Qn. This is log Qn, not sorry, 1 upon Qn is here. That's okay, it is fine. So Qn here, 1 upon Qn is here. So this you can solve to get value of Gk of R, with a correlation function of two spins which are separated by distance r. So we have Ik, so this multiplication is varying from Ik to K plus R minus 1 10 hyperbolic beta Zi, where I you can vary from K to K plus R minus 1. So from there you have Gr, it is spin correlation function, that spins are separated by R spatial distance. So 10 hyperbolic power R beta Z. So from there you can determine correlation length Xi. So we know that GKR is nothing but e power minus R upon Xi. So we can substitute here K value. So at the place of GR value we substitute e power minus R upon Xi, that is equal to 10 hyperbolic of R beta Z. So solving that you can get value of Xi, that is nothing but log of cot hyperbolic beta Z power minus 1. Okay. So from there you can get value of Xi, that is, so again you can substitute that your all this spin exchange interaction term which are side dependent has value say Z for all possible values of I, which is varying from K to K plus R. K to K plus R. So for that situation you will have value of e power minus R upon Xi, that is nothing but 10 hyperbolic power R beta Z. This term you can write only when you have Ji for all possible I has value Z. In this equation you substitute to get this value. So from there you have value of Xi 1 upon 2 e power 2 beta Z. Okay, we know that near critical point means second order phase transition case, where your fluctuations are having long scale length, it has power law behavior. Your coherence length has power law behavior. It is characteristic of second order phase transition. Remember here the fluctuation is dominant one. So this transition is fluctuation driven transition. So Xi, that is T minus Tc power minus nu, where nu is a critical exponent. So this is the characteristic of second order phase transition. So this exponent has same value for a universality class to which your one dimensional Ising system is belongs to. So Xi power T minus Tc power minus Xi, that is proportional to T minus Tc power minus nu. So where T minus Tc is close to 0, so you are in the neighborhood of transition point. So from there you can determine value of Xi, and a gamma is known to depend on this. Gamma is known to depend upon nu, and alpha is a critical exponent which is related with specific heat of your system. D is dimensionality of your system. So this this means you can determine all the possible exponents for a one-dimensional Ising system. So in this case D is 1, this eta is 1. So you can determine all your critical exponents. That is the characteristic of second order phase transition. So on the basis of these exponents you can determine for a given universality class you have value of exponent which is fixed one. Universality class is divided by two parameters. One is dimensionality, another is number of components. So here dimensionality is 1 day Ising system, dimensionality 1 component is there and one is spin up or down. So one universality class is there for which case you can determine all the possible exponents. So this completes your today's lecture.